Artyom Levshunov hasn't been that good in the AHL this season. He improved over the season, but even in his last stretch of games, where he was scoring more, there were some concerning elements in his play. He just didn't look like the player we scouted last season. He didn't have the same creativity, confidence, and enthusiasm. I wrote about his play in this article for Elite Prospects. If you want to read it, there's a link in the description below. But so far in his NHL performances, and most of all in this game that we're about to break down, I'm seeing the bold and confident player we liked so much last season.
To another newcomer for Chicago, number 55, Artyom Levshunov, number 2 overall in last year's draft.
Here's the first really good play from Levshunov. The puck gets dumped in, Levshunov scans the ice for options. He sees that his teammates are all in the middle. He carries the puck around the net and passes it to his teammate while knocking down a forechecker. That forechecker probably didn't know how sturdy Levshunov can be. He attempted the hit, but it's him who ended up on the ice. In the second shift, we see Levshunov's aggressive mentality. Here it puts him in trouble. He wants to pinch, but sees halfway through that he can't. He catches up to the play, but probably skates too far back, giving more space to the opposition in the neutral zone. Celebrini passes to Smith for the goal. But we can have a different perspective on the play. I don't know if it was the right call for Levshunov to pinch according to the Hawks system, but he saw the loose puck and probably anticipated that either his teammate would get it or that the next pass would come to the wall. Yes, he gives up a lot of space, but his teammates lack urgency on the back check, and then the F1 goes a bit too far and doesn't watch for attackers behind. Like I said previously in a Connor Bedard video, it's hard to evaluate the decision-making of a player playing for a very weak team. There's a lot of chaos and the reads are tough to make. Just like his teammates, Levshunov is often stuck covering for others and trying to be at 2 different places at the same time. But at least he has the skating ability and the range to recover when he moves out of position. And his skating also allows him to be aggressive offensively, like here on this rush. He activates, anticipates the delay play, and comes in as an option. He goes to the net and then recovers his position.
Far side and a one-timer is blocked. Paying the price, Tim Liljegren, as Alex Wenberg will guide it to the blue line. The veteran Alec Martinez keeping it out for Chicago.
Here's another good breakout play. He scans for pressure and outlets, rims the puck, and his teammate deflects it to space for the rush. Levshunov's puck-moving ability is one of the aspects of his game that improved slightly in the AHL this season. He's more aware and better at picking up options, but he really does his best work when activating with teammates. Here, his team breaks out and he runs ahead of the forecheck with his long strides, before coming back on defense again. In his prime, Levshunov could really have a 200-foot impact. This is his first real mistake, however. Instead of making a safer pass, like to one of his teammates behind, he tries to force one through 2 opponents. But the play doesn't end up costing his team.
It is Liljegren, can't catch it cleanly. Here's McCann. Grant scored his first NHL goal on the Sharks' long road trip to the East Coast.
Most of Levshunov's offense runs through his shot. That's why he has to become really good at setting it up, like here, by moving instantly on reception to create a lane. Then we see his rush defense again. He closes on the opposing formation, but realizes the play is going south, so he spaces out. Again, he's maybe a bit too far back here, but that allows him to absorb the opposition's speed and deny the shot. One of Levshunov's main weaknesses, especially in college, was his lack of urgency in the defensive zone. It has not been as much of an issue lately. He's becoming more aggressive one-on-one and faster in his rotations. He has to continue developing these aspects and also work on his awareness to effectively defend passing lanes away from the puck. Levshunov has the tools to become a top-end defender. It's just a matter of improving his details and consistency.
They weren't really displeased with the way they look. Here's Macklin with his panorama move. Gets it to Celebrini. Macklin, far side. Ferraro back to the goal mouth. Knight blocked it. And now Levshunov for Teravainen.
Here's a good play. He watches both the opponent ahead and behind him, gets his stick in the lane, and engages the opponent on the wall, which leads to his team recovering the puck. Levshunov could also work as a power play quarterback, depending on what the Hawks want on their first unit. If they're looking for a mobile, puck distributor, but mostly a shoot-first player, Levshunov could provide all of those elements. His playmaking game is also a bit underrated. The opposition knows that he likes to shoot, and that plays in his favor sometimes. He's capable of faking his release to freeze the defense and pass across. Here, his deception was so good that I think he faked his own teammate.
Connor Bedard, Levshunov, slap pass for Teravainen. He wasn't expecting that. I'm sure he was expecting Levshunov to wire that shot.
Yeah, and if it's a shot pass, he wasn't.
In this shift, he has a strong neutral zone gap. The position is forced wide. He matches the movement with his skating and then closes on the opponent after the blue line. Levshunov is not just strong, he's very agile too. He goes to the front of the net after and tries to create the breakout. He probably would have helped his team's offense even more if he managed a pass to the middle after. But this sequence was still very good. It's an example of turning defense into offense. His first defensive play forced the opposition into a rim, which allowed his team to recover the puck, and he was right there to make the breakout happen. In his prime, these are the sort of sequences that the Hawks will want him to have game after game. And we see two other similar sequences not long after.
All-rookie goal. All three players involved in their first seasons in the NHL. 3-1 Sharks as they get their 9th power play goal in the last 9 games. The Sharks have tonight 3 at least. Toffoli with 1 in the first period.
Good play.
Levshunov pressuring Kovalenko. Gets it back for Chicago. Third and final meeting of the season between these two longtime rivals. But the first meeting between...
Here, he deflects a pass. And it's another situation where he has different options. Hitting the one in the middle, before the forecheck arrives, is probably the best. That's also the option that his teammate is communicating. But Levshunov doesn't seem to see that play. That leads to the opposition recovering the puck and getting a scoring chance. So far in this game, it's Levshunov's play selection that has been his biggest issue, and it goes back to the draft year concerns about his hockey sense. Here's another example. Levshunov is open here. Immediately, he's thinking shot, but there's no one in front of the net and the goalie has a full view of the puck. Instead, he could have caught this puck in a downward attack and shot from closer to the net, or he could have froze the defense and tried some kind of cross-ice passing play. We don't anticipate that Levshunov is ever going to become an elite thinker of the game. He's capable of being a playmaker, and he could learn to spot the best plays more often. He's not like other players who are limited in their abilities. Levshunov has the high-end tools necessary to execute all of the best plays. It's just a matter of spending time in the video room and practicing a lot. He's just 19 years old, with plenty of time to improve. When watching him, we have to remember that 2.5 years ago, he was playing U18 hockey in Belarus. That league didn't really have a structure, so we can reasonably assume that yes, he has more work to do, but also more development runway than most, when it comes to learning to read the game and its patterns. When you evaluate him, you cannot do it with a plus and minus sheet, by compiling every positive and negative plays and then doing the total. There are going to be some games where he's a net negative, where the mistakes pile on. And it might be like this for a while, because despite being drafted 2nd overall, Levshunov is still a project, an elite one, but still mainly a project. When you watch him, you have to look past some of the decisions and concentrate on the tools and the flashes of higher-end ability and hockey sense.
Levshunov, his 2nd NHL game, number 2 overall in last year's draft. Here's Colin Graff on 2 goals tonight. Sends it back to the line for Ferraro. Graff again, sending it toward the back of the net. Levshunov intercepts, got it away from Giles.
The gamble the Hawks made is that those flashes will become more and more consistent as he ages, with the right guidance. And that in his prime, he will fill a top-line role on their back end.
Turcotte out of the trapezoid, trying to find Panawar. Levshunov will take it away for the Ice Hogs and skate up north. Artyom Levshunov, curl and drag into the offensive zone. Levshunov keeps going.
Right wall and has Zach Sanford turning and playing it back to center for Levshunov. Into the Texas zone, Slaggert. Now Levshunov left circle. His shot up high, knocked down by Becker. Had it in his skates for a moment. Now Joey Anderson gets it out to center for Cini. Through the middle of the ice, it's brought in now. Levshunov, top of the right circle, looks in, goes back door.
Back the other way, Athanasiou in, finds the late man, and the pass out in front, they score. Levshunov out of the box, and Kuzman sets it.
So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe. If you're interested in reading my assessment of Levshunov's AHL play, there's a link to my article in the description below.